Donald Trump walked onto the stage of David Letterman's show like a man who expected to win before the first word was spoken. He wanted to take control, push the host around, and make the cameras follow only him. But that night, something different happened. Letterman stayed calm. He used silence like a tool. He brought out hidden papers and old videos. Then he asked one simple question that changed everything. Trump's loud energy slowly fell apart on live television, and no one could stop it. The studio felt different that evening. The lights were brighter and sharper than usual. They did not feel warm. They felt strong and direct. David Letterman sat behind his desk with his legs crossed and his hands resting lightly on the table. He had a small, relaxed smile on his face, but his eyes were sharp. He looked like a chess player who already knew the next few moves. When the stage manager counted down the last 10 seconds, the air in the room grew heavy. Everyone could feel that something big was about to happen. The audience sat very still. No one whispered. They were waiting. Then Trump appeared. He did not walk like a normal guest. He walked like the whole stage belonged to him. When he reached the chair, he did not sit down right away. He pulled at his jacket, straightened his red tie, and looked at Letterman with a tight smile. His eyes did not look friendly. Finally, he sat down and spread himself out wide, elbows taking up space, shoulders pushed back. He wanted everyone to see that he was in charge. "Big crowd tonight," Trump said loudly, looking at the audience with a smirk. "People still like real power on television." A few people laughed, but the laughs sounded nervous and died away fast. Letterman stayed calm. His voice was quiet and steady, which somehow made the room feel even more tense. "Mr. President," he said, "people have been talking about you and Ivanka lately." The words were simple, but they landed hard. Trump's face changed at once. His smile disappeared. He leaned forward quickly. "Talking about what?" he asked sharply. "You mean made-up stories? Fake gossip? Are you trying to help your show by using my family name? Your ratings are low, Dave. You are angry about it, so now you want to use me to fix your problems." Trump's voice grew louder with every sentence. "If that is your plan, just say it. People do not come here to listen to lectures from you. They come to see winners. And let's be honest, you are not a winner anymore." The audience shifted in their seats. Some looked uncomfortable. Others crossed their arms. No one clapped. The room felt heavy. Letterman did not get angry. He did not shout back. He waited a moment, then spoke slowly. "Interesting," he said. "You came in talking about power and winners, but the first thing you do is try to stop a simple question. That does not look like strength. That looks like fear of losing control." Trump laughed loudly. "Fear? I run rooms. I run conversations. I run everything. Right now, you are sitting in my world." Letterman looked straight at him. "No," he said calmly. "You are sitting in front of cameras that do not belong to you. Tonight, you do not decide what people hear." The audience took a sharp breath together. Trump moved in his chair. His jaw became tight. He did not like that the talk was not going the way he wanted. Trump did not wait for another question. He started attacking again. "Let's stop pretending," he said, waving his hand. "Your show used to be important. Now it lives on old clips and memories. The numbers do not lie, Dave. When people stop watching, it means they stopped caring." He leaned closer to the desk. His voice became louder and faster. "You invited me because you need me. My name brings viewers. My face saves your show. You do not ask real questions anymore. You just look for drama. That is what desperate people do." Trump kept talking over Letterman. He did not let the host finish a sentence. This was his style. "Keep moving, keep loud, do not give the other person space." "See, you are quiet now," Trump said with a grin. "That is what happens when the truth hits you." The camera showed the audience. People looked shocked. Some shook their heads. Some held their breath. The room no longer felt like a fun talk show. It felt like a serious moment where something important was being tested. Letterman still did not fight back with loud words. He leaned back a little and let Trump's voice fill the air. The longer Trump talked, the heavier the silence after each sentence became. The quiet started to feel awkward. Trump noticed it. He frowned, then raised his voice even more, trying to force the room to react the way he wanted. Finally, Letterman leaned forward. He placed both hands flat on the desk. His voice stayed calm and clear. "You keep talking about ratings and winners," he said, "but you are avoiding the real thing." Trump smirked. "Avoiding what?" "Reality," Letterman answered. "Numbers do not scare people. Stories do. Facts do. And control disappears fast when the truth arrives." The studio became completely quiet. Trump stopped moving for a moment. Letterman continued in the same steady voice. "If you are finished showing off, let's talk about truth." He stopped speaking and let the silence stretch longer than normal on television. Trump blinked and looked at the audience, waiting for Letterman to say more. But Letterman just watched him calmly. When Letterman spoke again, his voice was lower. You know what is interesting? Every time the talk gets close to something real, you talk faster and louder. You try to change the subject. That is not confidence. That is trying to hide. Trump shook his head. I talk fast because I think fast. That is called being smart. Letterman nodded slightly. No, that is called making noise. And noise only works when the other person allows it. Some people in the audience made quiet sounds. Letterman leaned forward a little more. Tonight we do things differently, he said. You do not get to rush everything. We slow down. One question, one answer, no long speeches. Trump crossed and uncrossed his legs. His foot tapped the floor. You do not make rules for me, he said sharply. I ran the White House. I do not take orders from a talk show host. Letterman did not move. You are not in the White House now. You are on my stage. And right now, I am the one asking the questions. The tension in the room grew quickly. The audience leaned forward. They could feel something sharper was coming. Letterman paused, then said, Since you keep avoiding the topic, let's go back to where we started. He looked straight at Trump. Ivanka. Trump's body changed at once. His shoulders became stiff. His jaw tightened. We are not talking about that, he said quickly. Family is off limits. Letterman kept his eyes steady. You brought up ratings and public image. When power is involved, family becomes public too. The room went very quiet again. Trump tried to laugh. You are trying to trick me. Classic move. No, Letterman said. I am trying to get a straight answer. The fact that this makes you so uncomfortable tells me we are getting close to something real. The cameras showed close-ups of people in the audience. They looked shocked. One woman covered her mouth. A man shook his head slowly. Letterman leaned back and folded his hands. This is not about winning an argument, he said. It is about control. And right now, for the first time tonight, you do not have it. Trump stared at him with hard eyes. The silence returned, even heavier than before. Then Letterman picked up a small remote from the desk and pressed a button. The big screen behind them turned on with a soft blue light. An old video clip started playing. It showed a younger Trump smiling and talking about Ivanka in a way that once seemed like a joke. Tonight, in this room, the words sounded very different. Trump's own voice filled the studio. No music played, no laughter covered it. Just his words in the quiet space. Trump shifted in his chair. He crossed his arms, then uncrossed them. His eyes moved quickly between the screen and Letterman. When the clip ended, Letterman did not speak right away. He let the silence sit there, so everyone could think about what they had heard. Then he pressed the remote again. The video froze on Trump's face. Letterman stood up slowly and walked toward the screen. He pointed at the frozen image. Look at this moment, he said calmly. Not just the words. Look at the face. Look at the pause. That does not look like a joke. That looks like someone thinking carefully. Trump answered fast. You are twisting it. That was comedy. Everyone knows that. Letterman turned back to him. Comedy does not usually make people this upset. Letterman walked back to his chair and sat down. He lowered his voice a little. For years, people heard that clip and laughed it off. They told themselves it was nothing. But tonight, after the way you tried to control this room, that clip feels different. Trump forced a smile. You are desperate, digging up old videos because you have nothing new. Letterman shook his head slowly. No, I am showing context. And context changes how we see things. Then Letterman asked the question that stopped the whole room. He did not shout. He spoke quietly. So let me ask you something simple. What if it was not a joke? The studio became completely still. No one clapped. No one laughed. The question hung in the air like something heavy. Trump stared at Letterman. His mouth opened slightly, but no words came out right away. Letterman let the silence stretch again. Then he reached under the desk and brought out a thin, dark folder. He placed it on the table slowly and slid it forward a little. This, he said, tapping the folder once, is why that clip matters tonight. Trump leaned back. What is this? More fake papers? More tricks? Letterman opened the folder just enough to show the top page. The big screen behind them changed to show a clean document. The word hospital record appeared in clear letters. A soft gasp moved through the audience. Letterman turned the pages slowly. Let's start with the basics, he said. This is the header. Official hospital name, date, department stamp. Trump laughed too loudly. Anyone can print that. My children could make it on a computer. Letterman nodded. You are right. A header alone does not prove much. He turned to the next page. Now look at the dates. Admission time, discharge time. The screen zoomed in. The numbers were clear. Trump's smile started to fade. Old papers mean nothing, he said quickly. You do not even know whose name is on them. Letterman turned another page. That is why we look at the name. The screen showed the name clearly, Ivanka Trump. The audience gasped loudly, then everything went silent again. Trump sat up straight. "That is fake," he shouted. "You made that up. You are crossing a line." Letterman stayed calm. "Look at the details. Name, date range, medical department. Everything matches the same time period." Trump shook his head hard. "This is garbage. You think you can destroy someone with pieces of paper?" Letterman looked at him directly. "Paper does not destroy people. Patterns do." He continued turning pages. "This is not one record. It is a series of visits, follow-up appointments, all in the same window of time." Trump's foot tapped faster on the floor. His jaw was tight. "You are obsessed," he said with a bitter laugh. "You are doing this for attention," Letterman answered quietly. "You already created the attention. I am only showing what is behind it." The audience sat completely still now. No one moved. They were watching every page. Letterman closed the folder part way. "I am not showing everything at once. I want people to understand what they are seeing. Header, dates, name. That is the first step." Then Letterman pressed the remote again. The screen changed to grainy backstage video. In the clip, Trump's voice could be heard saying quietly, "She's mine." The words were not loud, but in the quiet studio, they sounded very clear. Trump's head turned sharply toward the screen. "That is taken out of context," he said fast. "You do not know what I was talking about." Letterman let the clip play once more, slower this time. Then he froze the video on Trump's face. "Let's stop guessing," Letterman said. "Let's put everything in order." A timeline appeared on the screen. Months and dates started filling in. Travel dates, public events, then a long empty space. Ivanka's time away in Europe with almost no appearances. Letterman pointed at the gap. No events, no interviews, just silence. Trump crossed his arms tightly. She was working. That is what models do. Letterman nodded. Working in public would have photos and news. This was disappearing. The timeline added more points. The hospital dates, the whisper clip, the return flight. Everything lined up. "Now here is the problem," Letterman said. "One thing can be chance. Two things can be bad luck. But this many things together, that is a pattern." Trump leaned forward, breathing heavier. "You are making connections that are not there. You are inventing a story." Letterman looked at him. "Then answer this. Is it chance or is it a pattern?" Trump paused for a second. The cameras caught it. The audience caught it. Letterman raised his hand toward the side of the stage. A former staff member from Trump's organization walked out slowly. The person looked nervous. Their shoulders were tight and their hands were clasped together. Trump laughed sharply. "Now you bring in old employees? This is sad." Letterman nodded to the witness. "Tell them what you delivered." The staff member swallowed. "Prenatal vitamins," they said quietly. The word hit the room hard. People gasped. Trump stood up halfway. "That is a lie. You are saying this for attention." The witness continued, voice shaking a little. "I did not choose what to deliver. I was told where to go and what to bring." Letterman asked calmly, "Who gave the order?" The witness looked down for a moment, then said, "It came from the top, from his office." The audience gasped louder. Letterman asked, "How many times?" "More than once," the witness answered. "It was not a single trip." Trump slammed his hand on the armrest. "This is all made up." Letterman stayed calm. "Timing matters. When did this happen?" "During the same month she was away," the witness said. "During the same window shown on the screen." The room felt heavy. The story was no longer just papers. It was a real person standing there talking. After the witness left, Letterman brought out another person, a woman who had worked as Ivanka's assistant. She walked slowly, looking scared. Trump tried to laugh again. "Another story?" Letterman said. "This one is about silence." The woman spoke softly. "After Barron was born, I was called to a private meeting. They made me sign a paper, not about business, about family matters. They told me if I ever spoke, I would be sued. My career would be finished." The audience reacted with shock. Letterman said, "That is not normal protection. That is control." Trump tried to argue, but his voice sounded weaker now. "People sign those papers all the time." Letterman answered, "Not usually to stay quiet about a birth." The assistant looked pale. She had clearly been afraid to speak for a long time. Letterman then brought out a thicker folder with foreign papers. The screen showed documents from a clinic in Switzerland. Dates, names, medical codes, all matching the same time period. Trump shouted, "This is all fake. I will sue everyone." Letterman looked at him calmly. "Threats do not erase documents. Lawsuits do not change timelines. Trump stood halfway, then sat down again. His shoulders were no longer wide and strong. He looked tired and cornered. Letterman turned to the camera. "If all of this is fake, if every paper is false, and every witness is lying, then show us the truth." The studio became completely silent. Trump stared at Letterman with wide eyes. He had no quick answer ready. The broadcast ended, but the story did not. Clips spread across the internet within minutes. People watched the timeline again and again. They zoomed in on dates. They argued about patterns versus chance. Trump posted angry messages calling everything fake and promising lawsuits. But every denial only made more people watch the video. The question, "What if it was not a joke?" became a phrase people repeated everywhere. By the next morning, the moment was no longer just a television interview. It had become something bigger. People were not only talking about Trump or Letterman, they were talking about power, silence, and what happens when questions cannot be shouted away. Letterman had not won by being louder. He had won by staying calm, showing evidence step by step, and asking one simple question at the right time. Trump had entered the studio trying to bully the room. He left knowing the room had changed, and the quiet had been stronger than all his noise.